Those who open their doors wake up unable to speak and slowly turn into shadows wandering the village paths at night. In a small Igbo village tucked between rolling hills and thick forest, the days were long, and the nights were filled with whispers. Everyone knew that after the sun sank behind the hills, strange things happened. But few believed the stories, until the woman who knocks after dark appeared. It began in the dry season, when the wells ran low and the earth cracked like old leather. Villagers would close their doors early, lighting fires inside their homes, listening to the cicadas and the soft cries of the night. One evening, the first knock came. A soft, deliberate tap on the wooden door. "Water, please," a voice whispered. The villagers who heard it thought it was a child lost in the dark. But those who opened their doors would never be the same. Jack was a young man, proud of his strength and courage. That night, as the village slept, he heard the knock. Tap, tap, tap. At first, he ignored it. Then the voice came again. "Please, water." Curiosity, and perhaps pity, won over fear. He grabbed a calabash, filled it from the well, and opened the door. A woman stood there. Her beauty was unlike anything he had ever seen: dark, glowing skin, eyes like polished ebony, hair flowing like river water. She smiled politely and took the water. "Thank you," she said softly, bowing her head before disappearing into the night. Jack slept soundly that night until morning. When he awoke, he could not speak. His mouth moved, but no sound came out. He tried calling his mother. No sound. He tried calling his friends. Silence. Days passed. Fear began to take hold. His shadow seemed darker, longer. At night, he wandered the village paths without knowing why, unable to control his steps. Slowly, his form began to fade. Until he became a shadow, drifting silently through the village forever.
We must address this matter with urgency and resolve, murmuring anxiously in agreement and concern.
As more nights passed, more villagers began to vanish, or rather, become shadows. Mr. Is, the village chief, called a meeting. "We cannot ignore this," he said, voice trembling. "One by one, our people disappear into darkness. Something evil walks among us." Old Neka, the wise woman of the village, spoke quietly. "Those who open their doors after sunset, they are touched by her. She asks for water, but what she takes is their voice, their life, their being. She is the woman who knocks after dark." Some laughed, thinking it a story to scare children. But fear was in their hearts. Every knock after sunset sent shivers down their spines. Not everyone believed she was evil. Some claimed she was a spirit, perhaps a lost soul seeking relief from thirst. Others said she was a warning, a reminder of pride and disobedience. One evening, Adiz, a young woman known for her bravery, saw the woman from afar. She was not afraid. She watched as the woman walked past houses, knocking softly, her eyes scanning each door. The woman's beauty was hypnotic. Adiz noticed the glint of sorrow in her eyes, a sadness that seemed endless. But before she could call out, the woman disappeared into the shadows, leaving the village silent and cold. That night, Adiz couldn't sleep. She felt the pull of the woman's presence, as if the spirit of the village itself were crying for someone to notice. The village elders decided to act. They gathered herbs, charms, and sacred objects, preparing to trap the woman. "We will place salt and kola nuts by each door," Neka instructed. "She cannot cross them without being revealed. And a fire must burn all night to keep her from returning." But the woman was clever. She knew fear, and she used it. Every night, villagers heard her knock, but no matter what precautions they took, she avoided the traps. The night of the full moon, the village was quiet, too quiet. The elders lit fires, sprinkled salt, and waited. The knock came, soft as a whisper. "Water, please." Adi stood by the door, calabash in hand, pretending to be asleep inside. The woman's shadow stretched across the compound. Then, Adi spoke aloud. "Why do you do this? Why take their voices?" The woman paused, her head tilting as if surprised. Her voice, soft and trembling, reached Adi's. "They do not hear me. I am thirsty. I only ask for water, but they take me as danger." Adis realized the truth. The woman was once human, a young bride lost to the cruel heat of the dry season. Thirst had taken her life near the river. Her spirit, unburied and unquenched, had returned to seek water, and in her sorrow, she touched those who helped her in life and death. Adis offered her calabash, filled to the brim. The woman drank silently, and for the first time, the wind of the night felt calm. But the villagers' shadows remained, their voices lost. Adis realized that some tales of the past cannot be undone, only understood. The woman vanished as dawn painted the sky in gold and orange. The villagers watched her go, her sorrow lingering in the morning mist. From that day, the knocking stopped, but the villagers never forgot. They learned a lesson: sometimes, fear masks sorrow, and the brave who face it may find understanding, even if they cannot undo all the pain left behind. At night, some villagers swear they see shadows wandering the paths, reminding them of those who were touched by the woman who knocks after dark. And somewhere, in the forest beyond the village, a woman still walks, asking for water. After the woman disappeared into the forest and the knocking stopped, a deep calm settled over the village. Nights became quiet again, and fear slowly loosened its grip on the hearts of the people. Doors were no longer slammed shut in panic, and lanterns burned with warmth instead of dread. The villagers began to look at one another differently. They helped draw water from the wells together, shared food during hard days, and watched over one another's children. Those who had once whispered in fear now spoke with kindness and understanding. Under the guidance of Is and the wisdom of Neka, the village learned the value of unity. They understood that survival was not found in isolation, but in togetherness. Though the shadows still wandered at night, they were no longer symbols of fear, but reminders of compassion, sacrifice, and the power of love within a community. And so, the village lived in peace. Stronger, kinder, and bound together by the lessons of the past. Fear can blind us to sorrow, and that compassion and understanding are stronger than judgment. While the villagers initially saw the woman as a threat, Adis realized her pain was real. Sometimes, those who seem dangerous or strange are simply seeking help, and ignoring or fearing them can have lasting consequences. It also reminds us that actions have consequences. Opening doors without wisdom or awareness can bring unexpected harm, and bravery combined with empathy can reveal the truth behind mysterious or frightening situations.